And you just got off the earnings call. What was the key takeaway from the call?
Yeah, I mean, the whole conversation was about their outlook for the smartphone market next year, 2020. They're saying it's going to return to growth again. As much as 1.85 billion devices are going to be sold. And more importantly, 5G devices, as many as 225 million are going to be shipped next year, is what they said.
We also know that they're looking at what could be a fifth year of both sales and earnings decline. Is that due to the smartphone market? And if that starts to grow, could we start to see top and bottom line growth for Qualcomm?
Yeah, I mean, they could be back to growth year on year as early as next quarter if they hit some of their targets. But it's been a rough period for them. I mean, it's been this hideous kind of long drawn-out dispute with Apple that took away a big customer. They've also got a dispute with Huawei, which still hasn't been solved. And on top of that, you have people getting bored with their smartphones and not seeing anything exciting about new ones to the point that they did. So what they're saying is that phase of the smartphone market for them is over, and things are going to come back. Just spoke to an analyst who said, that's maybe a little bit optimistic. So, but so far, people like what they said.
And you mentioned the settlement with Apple. How much of a tailwind is that for the shares or the fundamentals for the stock?
Yeah, I mean, it means they're getting paid on licensing already. So even though they're not in the iPhone at the moment, they're getting paid a fee because their technology is, right? They already won that one. But it really won't cut in terms of their chip unit until at some point next year, probably this time next year when Apple comes out with its next version of its iPhone, when you'll see actual Qualcomm silicon in iPhones again.
Morgan Stanley analysts coming into this call said the fourth quarter, which is what they reported, looked good, but it was really next quarter, that first quarter fiscal year, that might have been too optimistic. But if the shares are rising, do you get a feeling that maybe they weren't too optimistic? Are investors pretty happy that maybe the first quarter, that next quarter, is right in line?
Well, I think they're getting some credit for having been conservative about the quarter they just reported, and then proved through their own execution that they actually did better. So that buys them credibility when they go out and say things are getting incrementally better again. And obviously people like that. People want, this company to go back to growth.
And finally, just a top shake-up at the top of management. They are naming a new CFO. How big of news is this?
I mean, this guy has been with them a long time. He's been in the chip division, basically the head of the finance for that chip division. On the call, he answered a lot of questions. He was obviously very, very entrenched in the company and understands the business model. They're not getting an outside perspective here. They're getting very much somebody who knows this company.